Hey everyone, Mr. MC here. This is guide for round 9 of the 2021 FIA Nations Cup Stage 2 taking place at Alsace with the Audi TT Cup. So let's go ahead and get this started by mentioning that the brake balance in time trial and qualifying is at +2, but in the race the brake balance is all the way to the back of the car, so +5. Bring yourself towards the left side of the track and you want to brake just before you reach the 50-meter board. So you want to brake right around here, brake hard for a short moment, and start to ease off of the brakes as you turn in. And you can go down to third gear and gradually ease on the throttle to try to avoid getting wheel spin, which will contribute to getting a lot of understeer. And with this car, you want to try to avoid touching the grass here at Alsace. But bring yourself towards the left side of the track as you want to look for the very first sign that is on the left as you want to brake just before you pass it. Brake hard for a short while and slowly ease off of the brakes as you turn in, going in for a late apex and being gentle on the throttle. And make sure you avoid this area on the left as it'll make the car unstable. And there's another one hanging out on the next right turn. But for this turn, just before the first sign on the right starts, you want to turn in and do a little lift off of throttle. You're just trying to carry as much speed as possible. Bring yourself towards the left, and your next braking point is just before you go under the Gran Turismo banner. So quick burst of braking through here. Let the car coast for a moment, so no braking nor throttle to let the car rotate, and then get on the throttle. Then bring yourself towards the right if you haven't yet, as you want to brake before the sign on the right starts. So brake right around here, quick burst of braking, ease off of the brakes so the car can rotate through this turn as you're slowing down, and carefully get on the throttle. And you can take that turn on fourth gear to try to avoid getting any wheel spin. Then turn in when you pass the 50-meter board, and you want to eventually start to ease off of the throttle so you can try to go for a late apex, which is the very end of the curb that is on the right. So once you reach that part, you want to try to get on the throttle, fully accelerate through here, bring yourself towards the right, and then you want to start to turn in to the left and brake just before the guardrail on the left end. So you're braking hard for a while as there's a very sharp hairpin through here. Nice and easy on the throttle so you don't get any of that nasty wheel spin and understeer. Then turn in when you pass the very first sign that is on the right. Quick lift off of the throttle as you're trying to maximize your speed, especially as you're going uphill. Then bring yourself towards the left, and this one is a little tricky. Brake just before the squares on the middle of the road start before you go under the blue tube thing. So brake hard for a while and you want to try to nail down these apexes. You can go through here on second or third gear. It's all about setting yourself up to try to tackle this last turn. So lots of braking and throttle control needed, and don't hit the barriers on the right. But that's all for the lap guide. Let's go ahead and take a look at the strategies. For the qualifying session, you'll have 5 minutes to try to get a good qualifying time, which means that you'll have 2 chances to try to get the best qualifying time possible. Also, I don't know what that GTR is doing there since this is a one-make race with a TT Cup. But anyways, even though you have time to get 2 qualifying laps done, in reality, because of the tire wear situation and this car being a front-wheel drive, you're really only going to have 1 chance to try to get a good qualifying time, with your first qualifying lap being your best shot at trying to get the best qualifying time possible. Slipstream is going to be useful, especially in the higher split lobbies. So in the higher split lobbies, you want to be within 3/4 of a second between yourself and the next car, so you can take advantage of the slipstream, go a little bit faster, and shave off a bit of time. And as I mentioned earlier, because of the tire wear issue and the first qualifying lap being really your only time to get the best qualifying time possible, if you're in a lower split lobby, I would suggest just qualifying by yourself, get away from everyone, because really your first qualifying lap is going to be the one that counts the most. The only exception is if you messed up your first qualifying lap somehow, and you just go on to hopefully try to get a better second qualifying lap. And also, don't do the jump out and jump back in strategy, because you're not going to have enough time to complete another out lap if you do that. You pretty much need to do one long qualifying stint and hope that you get the best qualifying lap done on your first qualifying lap. And I know I've said that about a million times at this point, but I just want to really make that point clear that your first qualifying lap is pretty much your best chance at trying to get the best qualifying time possible. So that's where you really want to make sure that you're able to nail down every single one of your turns. But anyways, move on over to the race strategies. We're doing 12 laps at Alsace with the Audi TT Cup, so this is the Group 4 car. I have this clip slowed down because it is a grid start, which is going to be a bit awkward with this car. So the way I do it with the grid start, I have the traction control at 1, but it's not going to be on for that long. So I have the traction control to 1 to try to get the car moving, and once it starts to move, that's where I move the traction control to 0 and do a little bit of throttle control to try to control the amount of wheel spin that the car is getting, because once again, I want to try to get the car moving and hopefully just try not to be standing still spinning my wheels. So you'll see me do it again. This is at 100% motion. So here we go. The race starts now. And then I do a little bit of throttle control, just trying to reduce the amount of wheel spin that I'm getting. But yeah, just wanted to point that out there because the grid starts with any front wheel drive car like the Audi TT Cup. It's really weird. It bogs down a lot, especially with traction control on. But anyways, 12 laps at Alsace with this car. Fuel is a ×4 and the tire wear is a ×4, which means that both tires and fuel are going to be an issue. We are given the racing medium and hard tires, but only the racing hard tires are required for this race. So you do need to use the racing hard tires for at least one lap so you don't get penalized at the end of the race. And for those who just want to know what the heck to do for this race, this is pretty much going to be a one-stop race, but you do need to fuel save. So pretty much you want to fuel save in the twistier parts of the track, and you want to shift when the bar reaches the gear number. And in a moment, I'll show how I'm doing the fuel saving. So this is without the slipstream. If you're under someone slipstream, it is going to be easier to be able to do a bit more fuel saving via short shifting while getting a free tow from the car ahead of you. But anyways, on the main straight, you can go flat out. Through the first turn, you can exit on third gear to try to prevent a bit of the wheel spin from going on and to be on the lower revs so you can save a bit more fuel. And by short shifting, you're also doing a bit of tire saving as well. But anyways, this big straight after the first turn is where you want to go flat out. And then after turn 3, which is this turn right here, that's where you want to start to do the short shifting. So shifting when you reach the gear number, hopefully not binning it. And once you get to the gear number again, shift up so you're saving a bit more fuel. And I'm pretty much going to be short shifting until I reach the bank turn that is not too far from here. So here I'm still short shifting it, and just be aware that the revs will bounce a bit through that part. Still short shifting through here. You can exit on fourth gear to try to reduce the amount of wheel spin you're getting and to also save a bit more fuel. Shift up again to fifth gear. And here is the next part where you can go flat out. So this part right here, from the bank turn to the hairpin coming up, this is where you can go flat out. And then from this hairpin to the next turn, which is the left turn coming up, this is where you're the most aggressive with the fuel saving. So you're shifting before the bar is half full. But then going uphill, you can go flat out because you need that power to, of course, go up the hill. You can still go flat out as you're going downhill, but once you start to go through the chicane, that's where you want to think about going through this turn on third gear. Second gear, if you need to get the car to rotate a bit more. And then the start finish straight, once again, go flat out. And yeah, that's how I do the fuel saving here for this race. If you're under slow and slipstream, so whenever you're within 3/4 of a second between yourself and the next car, you'll be in their slipstream range, which will make it a bit easier to be able to fuel save and keep up with their pace. Now, in terms of tire wear, the racing medium tires can last up to 8 laps, but how long they'll really last will depend on how you're driving the car. So if you're overly aggressive on the throttle coming out of the turns, so you're generating a lot of wheel spin, your tires are probably going to last no more than 6 laps. But if you're able to be gentle on the throttle, have the brake balance at +5 all the way to the back of the car, and pretty much just drive as gently as possible, especially coming out of the turns, then it'll be possible to make the racing medium tires last 8 laps, and then you do the last 4 laps on the racing hard tires. And it'll pay off well to be consistent in your race. So as you can see on the right side of the screen under my face cam, you'll see that I'm constantly doing 201, so 2015, 2013, 2014, another 2014. If you're able to stay consistent like that, just having a clean drive and being gentle on the throttle when you're coming out of the turns, then you'll be able to make the racing medium tires last up to 8 laps. But once you notice that the car is becoming extremely understeery and you're losing a lot of time, or once you reach the end of lap 8, then it is time to pit. So just after the final chicane, bring yourself all the way towards the right. And just a quick note, when you see this little diamond, that tells you how much fuel you need to be able to finish the race, considering that you keep with your current driving style. So if the diamond is away from the bar, that means they need to refuel. But in my case, I don't need to refuel. But anyways, assuming that you don't have to refuel, you're only going for a tire change, you'll be losing about 10 seconds. So it's a bit longer than the pit loss at Tsukuba just recently for the manufacturer race. But yeah, pit stop is still pretty short here. And on the fresh racing hard tires, you'll be able to get some respectable times. Your lap times will be a bit closer to the times that you get on the racing medium tires when they're starting to wear out. So it is possible to even potentially be lapping times that are around, I'll say 0.6 to 1 second per lap slower than your fastest lap on the racing medium tires, which isn't too bad. And part of that is because you're actually low on fuel. So the car gets lighter, which means that your car will be able to go a bit faster. But anyways, at the end of this race, this specific one, I got a 24 minutes and 39 seconds. And I did do some testing while I wasn't recording for both the 1 and the 0 stop, just to make sure that I had everything right. And my fastest time on the 1 stop was a 24 minutes and 36 seconds. Whereas my fastest time on the 0 stop, so doing all 12 laps on the racing hard tires, was a 24 minutes and 39 seconds. So it's about a 3-second difference, but with the 1 stop, you're overall going faster than a 0 stop. You don't have to tire save as much as those during the 0 stop, and it's overall just safer. If you're not good at tire saving, 1 stop is already better. With the 0 stop, you have to do fuel saving and tire saving, and either way you're still going to kind of get screwed over because the tire eventually does kick in, which makes you a sitting duck. So pretty much the only time that the 0 stop is at an advantage is when those on the 1 stop are pitting, which after that you're still going to be at a disadvantage because you're on worn tires, whereas those who are 1 stopping, they're on fresh tires, so they'll be able to gain all that time back on you and then just easily overtake you. So is the 0 stop worth it? Even if you're good on tire saving, I don't think it's going to be worth it, unless if there's like some miraculous luck and everyone on the 1 stop spins out or bins it and you don't. But other than that, it's honestly just not worth it. So let's go ahead and move on over to places to overtake and the penalty serving zone. So coming in towards turn 1, it is possible to try to go for a move here, but just be aware of any people that are potentially coming out of the pit stop so you don't collide into them. The first and only penalty serving zone is hanging out after turn 1, and this straight is potentially the best place to go for a move. Try to take the position, especially with the use of slipstream. And after that, it's going to get a bit more difficult to try to go for a move as you're going through twistier parts of the track, so it'll make your life a bit harder if you're trying to get past someone. But after this long left turn, it's going to be very situational when it comes to trying to get past someone leading up to this next right turn. This one, I feel it's a bit too risky to try to go for a move, unless if the car in front of you is just going really slow. Then this left turn, it is possible to try to go for a move, and just be careful, try to make sure that you're able to nail down this turn, as you don't want to get taken advantage of and have to end up battling through this banked turn. I wouldn't suggest trying to battle for position through here, going side to side, because you may end up getting pushed out depending on where you're at. And it's going to be very tricky to try to get a move done through these next turns, because if you're on the inside for the left turn, you're going to end up on the outside for this hairpin that goes towards the right. Then once again, get situational through here. I would suggest just waiting it out until you start to go up the hill. With the slipstream, you'll give a bit of a toe and hopefully get a better run, as the final place to go for a move is leading up towards this chicane right here. But anyways, that's all for me. Once again, this is looking like it'll be a mostly straightforward one-stop race. Try to feel safe via short shifting and taking advantage of the slipstream. But anyways, that's all from me. Thank you guys for the support. Thank you to Playseat for supporting the channel as well. This is Mr. MCA wishing you a good race, and I'll see you in the next video.